So there are studies that look at how, like, the best way to fall. In my opinion, and I have unfortunately fallen, and the most recent time I was on a hiking trail and I tripped over this root. I went right down, kind of splat. I was okay. But I know in that instant, it's almost unrealistic to think that we're going to be able to have the wherewithal to think, do this, don't do that, and so on. Nevertheless, there are studies that talk about, in the event of a forward fall, not having perfectly straight elbows can help decrease the risk of a wrist fracture. So they talk about bend the elbows even a little bit as you go down. In the event of a backward fall, if you know you're falling backward, they talk about go into a bit of a squat. So in other words, you're bending your hips and knees as you go backward. Many of the things that they talk about are based on martial arts and how to fall. And, you know, people who practice the martial arts know about, you know, how to go into a forward roll when they fall, and how to kind of twist in just the right way so that you're landing in the best of possible ways. A sideways fall is the way that people would usually sustain a hip fracture. So in these studies that I'm referring to, they talked about, if you can tell you're going sideways, to try to kind of twist a little bit to go into that little bit of a roll so you don't land just right on that outer hip area. Having said that, if you're down on the ground, I'm going to talk first about using some item to help you get up. So let me move this out of the way for a moment. So let's just say, you know, here you are and you're down on the floor. You're going to get yourself up to hands and knees, and I'll turn this way. Bring yourself over to some sturdy object, whether it's a sturdy chair that's not going to tip over, a coffee table, an ottoman, and then now you've got something to be able to get one leg up. You're using your hands, and the other leg, and then you always want to, you know, your heart rate is probably racing, and so you want to just give yourself that chance to just sit and make sure, you know, everything feels all right. But then what happens if there isn't anything to push up from? If you're in the middle of some space where you don't have that ability to use some kind of external support. And I'll show you the best way to get up in that situation. So I'm going to adjust the camera. So we're down on the floor. And of course, the first thing you want to make sure of is, like, am I okay? Nothing is hurting. You can move your arms, you know, you can move your legs. So you want to get yourself sidelined first. In other words, you roll to your side. From there, notice I'm using bottom elbow, top arm, pushing myself up to that side sitting position. From here, the best way to get up is to get on your hands and knees, similar to when we had the chair, but now you're going to use your own strength to get up. So now I've gotten to my hands and knees, and I'm bringing one leg up, and then the other leg. I've got my knees and my hips really bent, and then what you can do is use your own legs to kind of walk your way back up to that starting position. So again, you're on the floor. You make sure everything's okay. You're kind of doing your own little, you know, monitoring of yourself. You roll to your side. You push up to sitting. From there, you want to be in that hands and knees position. And I'll do this from a front view. Whichever leg is stronger, you're going to put up first. And then you're using your, your hands can either be here. Better to keep them both on the ground until you get that other leg up. And now using your own hands to push yourself up to that standing position again, and allowing yourself to have that, to just have that moment to kind of sit in a chair, check yourself, make sure everything is okay. So hopefully that's helpful. Prevention is the name of the game. Even this getting up off the floor takes some strength. Obviously it takes leg strength, core strength. So the exercise, those preventive measures, it cannot be overemphasized how critical that is. And it's never too late to start.